Now let's head to the crypto space and see what's going on there. Looking at prices, of course, to begin with. We know that Bitcoin, the market is still greedy from last week. In fact, for this afternoon, it's gone up to 75 over 100. So it's a very greedy market. And I guess that's because of the price of Bitcoin is still on the rise. Talking about the price of Bitcoin, it hit $52,430.61, and that's up 0.58%. Ethereum is also following in that sentiment. Right there, we see Ethereum is at 2,919.15 after it added 3.25%. BNB is, however, on the flip side, it's down 1.37%, costing $353.30. Cardano is negative. XRP is negative at this time. Now we have Gilbert joining us now to tell us what's driving some of this sentiment. Hi, Gilbert. Happy Monday to you.
Yeah, wishing you same.
Yeah. So what's going on now? What are the drivers now? I know some people have started talking about halving, but I guess it's too early for that. But what's the current state now? What are the drivers?
Okay, the fact that people are already talking about halving means that we could price halving in with what's happening to the price. But then if we are looking at what's driving the recent price, in our last conversation last week, Wednesday, I told you about the present market structures at that time that could drive Bitcoin to break out above even that 53,000 and can strike in more fear, more FOMO. Persons who have fear of missing out in the market. But then aside the technical structures, which will drive investors to buy, we also have the ETF. So in ETF inflow, so many institutions have been consistently buying. As at last week Monday, we saw over 493 inflow. And not just these institutions that had approval for ETF want a piece of the pie. We also saw banks in the US also that want to offer ETF services as well. And the SEC are just involved all of a sudden. So there is an unlimited demand for the limited supply of Bitcoin, which is available. So the ETF inflow and also the market structure is really causing sentiments to change, and everybody wants a piece of Bitcoin at this time.
It might be. I hope it's not too late when we see the price. And some people are even saying that it's going to hit 69,000 even before the halving.
It's very, very possible. And there are a couple of signs that if you look at can really tell you that Bitcoin isn't stopping anytime soon. First of all, is the institutional investors' interest. We have seen consistent inflow. For about 13 straight days, there were constant inflow of money through the ETF. Even the banks want in. The second is unlimited demand. Unlike the traditional gold, Bitcoin has a specific finite number of 21 million that can never be in existence. So theoretically, this is scarcity, which will increase the value of Bitcoin. And meanwhile, let me give you another example. On Monday last week, a Bitcoin miners produced about 1,050 BTC, which was about $51 million worth of Bitcoin. But that same day, Bitcoin ETF issuers bought about over $10,000, 10,000 BTC, and its value was over 493. So you could see there is an unlimited demand keep being priced on the limited supply of Bitcoin, which is available. Another is actually gold is losing its shine at the moment. I know gold remains the biggest ETF, which is out there, but if you notice, there have been an outflow from the gold ETF market. The question is, where do we think this outflow is going to? It's coming to Bitcoin at the moment because it's what's hot, it's what is trendy. And one of the best ways to make money in the marketplace is being early to trend. So not just retail investors, institutions all over the world are also getting ready to have a great piece of the pie.
Well, I hope institutional investors will not drive away the smaller investors. Everyone should have a share, you know. And then halving is just in April. We're counting down to it. But what do you see happening? We're getting to the end of February now, getting into March, which is just about a month. What do you see happening, you know, days and weeks to that April 19?
Okay, first of all, I think institutional investors will increase the cost of entry. So for the average young man who is out there, the price for you to pay to go in is going to be more than it should have been for you. And then typically they are going to increase prices up. This is why, while I've always been on this show, I've always talked about margin of safety. And that was why I was like 24K were good places, you know, because that was institutional level entry. But the major thing for retail guys who are listening is just to understand that they need a margin of safety. And this margin of safety means getting into the market before Bitcoin hits all-time high. While we look out for the halving that will be coming in, we are going to have a lot of price surge will come into other cryptocurrencies. But the good thing is for persons to be ahead of the entire crowd. You know, all of this will form a trend that will be enough to fool novice investors. But I'm not really talking about causing trend in most solid cryptos. There will be other lesser cryptocurrencies that can easily start new trend, and everybody will FOMO into the market and can cause a blow off top. So it's always a good thing you position ahead of time, and also not to come in when institutions have already increased the cost of entry.
So is it too late now for the individual investors?
No, I still think it's still early. It's not late to go into the market right now.
We're doing 52 now.
We haven't even hit the all-time high of the last bull market. We haven't. But any moment from now, we will hit. And once that happens, you know, typically we'll always have a blow off top. And that is when everybody actually out there who knows little or nothing about the market always want to come in. So right now is the time where you should enter to have that margin of safety, because we'll get to all-time high and then create a new all-time high.
Okay, if you say so. But all of this might be threatened by recession in the Eurozone.
Okay, yeah. You know, recession has struck the world's top economy, even though the US seems to be defying this expectation. But this is it. For those who understand history, when bad times strike or prevail, the world has always turned to gold and silver. But Bitcoin is digital gold. It's gold of the internet, which has more better, like we know gold is scarce, but we don't know the total number of gold that is available. But we could say this for Bitcoin. The same time, Bitcoin is something that is more transferable. You could send it in real time, you know, via the internet. So gold, Bitcoin, which is the digital gold at the moment, is more of the gold for our generation. And then what we have always seen is during bad times, during recessions, investors always flock towards gold and silver. So the thing is, even if the US hits a recession, which so far I think Powell is doing a good job. You know, so far how he has been able to fly the economy. But even if the US go into recession, where do we think investors will be running into? It has to be Bitcoin. And so far you could see with even gold losing its shine. It's losing its shine because investors are seeing Bitcoin to be a more favorable destination than gold. But understand that there are some old money institutional investors who will always choose gold over Bitcoin, like Peter Cherf. You know, so even while that is the case, we still have a Michael Saylor, who is also an old institutional investor, who still chooses that the digital gold, which is Bitcoin, over the old traditional gold.
Yeah, good.
So even if we see...
It's good you said that, because I was going to remind you that there are still some people who are traditional, and gold remains gold for life.
It's the same way. It's the same way even in the new digital market, which is crypto. There are certain persons who don't invest in any crypto that isn't Bitcoin. They just believe that other cryptocurrencies, they are risky and it's not something even worth the time. You know, we always see different investors have their preference and their strategy, and which I respect that at the end of the day. But the digital gold, which is Bitcoin, I think is about having the shine in the present recession that the world is being struck on.
All right, Gilbert Jokpata, financial market analyst. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, so is it gold or is it Bitcoin for you? Which one, especially as halving draws near April 19th?